20 minutes. No camera, no marketing degree, no film crew. Just 20 minutes and one tool most people still treat like a glorified chatbot. That gap is the entire difference between channels quietly closing in on $30,000 a month and channels still posting into silence. Take a channel called Zen. 130,000 subscribers, 12 videos, 14 million total views. The channel itself shows a creation date years back, but the actual upload history only starts a single month ago, meaning every one of those 14 million views happened inside 30 days. Independent tracking tools put it at roughly $61,000 a month. Its most viewed upload alone sits past 7 million views, posted in that same single month. Run the numbers a traditional setup would need to hit that. A production company chasing 14 million views in 30 days would be staffing writers, hiring a voice actor, running an animation team around the clock, and burning a budget that would make most agencies nervous. Nobody's doing that for a channel with a 12-video back catalog and a month-old upload history. So either someone's quietly setting cash on fire every single week, or the entire pipeline, script, voice, visuals, editing, is being generated end-to-end rather than produced by hand. It's the second one. It's the same story behind almost every channel like this right now. In this video, I'm walking you through that exact pipeline, start to finish, the one running behind these channels, using Claude and a small stack of connected tools, so you can sit down tonight and have a finished, publish-ready video without touching a camera or a timeline for hours. Zen isn't sitting out there by itself. Axon, a different channel entirely, hit 36,000 subscribers off just 10 videos. Its very first upload already passed 800,000 views. Its top video passed 2.7 million, pulling in around 300,000 views in a single week, and roughly $13,000 this month alone. Apex Psychology, a fully animated, faceless channel, pulls in 1.4 million views a month, and somewhere between $7,000 and $14,000 from ad revenue by itself. Before you even count what a single low-priced digital guide sold to that audience could add on top, which realistically lands closer to another 20,000. And this isn't one person's lucky month either. There's a creator running this exact automated approach across 6 separate monetized channels at once, with students getting approved for monetization within a single week of starting. Different niches, different creators, none of them coordinating, all landing on the same underlying system, because the system is what's actually producing the result, not any one person's talent. Here's why this particular moment matters. For years, the bottleneck in faceless YouTube was never the idea. It was execution speed, how fast you could turn a concept into a finished, well-paced video. Every step used to take real hours. Writing, voicing, generating art, cutting it together. Now Claude can sit in the middle of nearly every one of those steps at once. Not replacing your judgment, but collapsing the execution time from a full day down to 20 focused minutes. The niches paying the most right now reward exactly this kind of speed. Business, personal finance, AI tools, and psychology-adjacent content routinely pay somewhere between $8 and $40 per 1,000 views, while a generic entertainment upload with the same view count might earn a single dollar, same audience size, completely different payout, purely because of category. Combine a high-paying category with a pipeline fast enough to publish consistently, and you get channels going from 0 to 5 figures a month inside their first 30 days, which used to be almost unheard of. Start with picking a niche you can actually defend with numbers, not a gut feeling. Ask Claude directly to compare a list of niche candidates by typical payout per view and by how saturated the competition already looks, and have it rank them. Business, finance, psychology, and AI tooling keep coming up near the top for a reason. They combine high advertiser demand with an audience willing to sit through a full explanation rather than skim past it. Pick one you can talk about with some real interest, because a channel is going to need dozens of uploads before it takes off, and faking interest in a topic for that long shows up in the writing eventually. Before any of that, spend the first 30 minutes on identity, because a channel that looks half-built gets scrolled past no matter how good the video behind it is. Ask Claude for a batch of name options built around your chosen niche. Cross-check whichever ones you like against existing channels so you're not accidentally cloning a name that's already established, and then generate a profile picture and channel banner to match. and then generate a profile picture and channel banner to match. If your format uses a recurring animated host or mascot, generate that character now, at this stage, not later, since every visual you make from here forward is going to reference this exact image. Keep this whole step under an hour. Nobody is scrutinizing your banner for more than a second or two before deciding whether the rest of the channel is worth a look. Once you've got a niche, the next step is building a small tracking list of channels already succeeding in it, 15 or more if you can. Rather than judging ideas by raw view count, look at each video's performance relative to that specific channel's normal size, because that's what actually reveals a genuinely strong idea versus a channel that's just big already. A video pulling 66,000 views on a channel with only 1,000 subscribers is outperforming its own channel by roughly 50 times. A video with 116,000 views on a 4,000 subscriber channel is outperforming by close to 40 times. And both of those are far stronger signals than a video that did the same numbers on a channel with 1 million subscribers already backing it. Once you've flagged several of these outlier videos across your tracked channels, feed the titles and thumbnails to Claude and ask it to generate new ideas that combine two proven angles into something neither competitor has actually made yet. An idea that's provably built out of two things that already work, rather than a hopeful guess.
Now the script, and this is genuinely the step that separates a video that holds attention from one that quietly loses half its audience by the 2-minute mark.
Don't just ask for a script from a blank prompt that produces something generic almost every time. Instead, pull the transcript of a top-performing video from a channel in your tracked list, feed that transcript to Claude alongside your own topic, and ask it to write a new, original script that follows the same pacing, hook structure, and retention rhythm as the reference, without repeating any of the reference's actual sentences or story content. Done properly, Claude will often match length automatically too. One creator running this exact method got back a script sitting at just under 4,000 words without ever specifying a word count, because it was matching the pacing of a 20-minute reference video rather than guessing at length. Read the output back before you move on. And don't be afraid to ask for a second pass on the opening 30 seconds specifically. That's the section worth the most iteration, since it decides whether anyone sticks around for the other 19 minutes. For voice, you've got real options, depending on budget and how cautious you want to be. Paid voice platforms have gotten noticeably cheaper over the last year, some running a fraction of what the established players charge per generated minute, so it's worth comparing 2 or 3 before committing to one for your whole channel. Whichever you pick, don't default to the same generic preset voice everyone else in your niche is already using. Audition several options against your actual script and lock in whichever one doesn't sound like it's narrating 3 other channels you've already seen this month.
If you're comfortable on mic, recording your own voice remains the single safest option against any future policy shift targeting synthetic voices specifically, and plenty of successful faceless creators have quietly moved back toward doing exactly that. Precisely because they'd rather not rebuild a channel's entire identity around a voice tool that could change its terms overnight. Whichever voice path you take, run your video editing by hand rather than fully automating that specific step if you can spare the time for it. Editors who mix in some manual assembly, even just placing clips and adjusting pacing themselves, report noticeably fewer issues with platforms flagging their content as low effort or purely synthetic, since every finished video ends up a little different from the last rather than following an identical template every single time. Visuals are where Claude actually starts doing work that used to take an entire afternoon. If your format uses a recurring character, an animated host, a mascot, a consistent illustrated figure, generate that character once as a clean, clearly lit reference image. Then reuse that same reference in every single scene prompt going forward, instead of redescribing the character from scratch each time. Small wording drift across dozens of separate prompts is exactly how a channel ends up with a host who looks like 4 different people across one video. Connect Claude to an image and video generation platform through its connector settings. Most of these tools support this through a straightforward custom connector setup, and once it's linked, you can hand Claude your full script and ask it to generate 1 visual per scene, referencing your locked character image and switching visual beats roughly every 5 to 10 seconds. which is close to the pacing viewers are already responding to in this format right now. Getting that connector working the first time is where most people actually stall out, so it's worth walking through slowly rather than rushing it. In Claude settings, there's a section for connectors where you add a custom one by name and paste in the link your chosen image or video platform provides, then authorize it against your account there. From that platform's own site, there's usually a short setup page with a handful of terminal commands to run in sequence, one to install the command line tool itself, one to authorize your account, and one to actually install the generation capability as a usable skill inside Claude. If the first command throws an error, it's very often because your computer is missing a runtime environment these tools depend on. Installing that runtime and rerunning the exact same command almost always clears it. If a later command fails for a similar reason, it's frequently a missing version control tool rather than anything wrong with your setup, and again, installing it and repeating the same command resolves it. None of this is a sign you've broken something. Nearly everyone running this pipeline for the first time hits one of these two snags, and both have a one-line fix. For the actual visual style, be explicit rather than vague in your generation prompt. State the exact look you want, whether that's a simple hand-drawn style, a polished animated look, or something photorealistic. Describe the aspect ratio. Describe what's forbidden as clearly as what's wanted. No watermarks, no stray text unless the scene specifically calls for it. No signature-style artifacts some models default to. A loosely worded prompt is exactly how you end up regenerating the same batch of images 3 or 4 times before anything looks usable, and that's credits and time you don't need to spend twice. One workflow detail that quietly saves hours. Run your voiceover through a transcription tool that returns timestamps alongside the text. Several free tools handle a few files a day at no cost, which is plenty for one script daily. Feed that timestamped transcript to Claude along with your image generation instructions, and ask it to generate one image per timestamp and name each output file after its timestamp. When you get to editing, you're no longer guessing where anything goes. The file names are already telling you exactly which second each image belongs on, which turns what used to be an hour of manual placement into something closer to 15 or 20 minutes of dragging clips onto a timeline in order. If you'd rather skip manual editing almost entirely, Claude Code can handle the assembly step directly on your computer, stitching voiceover, images, and video clips together automatically once you describe what you want in plain English. No programming knowledge required. It genuinely is just describing your intent clearly, something like matching each visual to its corresponding section of narration and switching scenes on a set rhythm, and letting it handle the technical execution. Setting this up the first time involves installing a couple of small supporting programs your system might not already have, and you may hit an error message or two the first time through. That's normal, and almost everyone running this pipeline for the first time hits the same 1 or 2 snags, usually solved by installing one missing dependency and trying the same command again. This same approach extends past just making videos. Claude Code can build small, custom tools around whatever your specific workflow keeps forcing you to do by hand, without you writing a line of code yourself, just describing the repetitive task in plain language. One creator running 6 separate monetized channels built a private tool that bulk downloads reference clips from multiple platforms at once instead of saving each one individually, cutting a 10-minute task down to under a minute. It doesn't need to be polished. It just needs to remove the one step that's quietly eating the most time out of your day, and once you notice which step that is for your specific channel, describing it to Claude usually gets you a working first version within a couple of hours. What this actually costs, all in, once you're not testing every option available, somewhere under $50 a month covers your entire stack. Script generation, voice, visuals, and editing tools combined, against a traditional production setup that would run many multiples higher for the same output. Start on the cheapest tier everywhere. Prove your specific format and niche are actually converting into watch time, and only upgrade the tools that are genuinely bottlenecking your output once you have real data telling you so. Against a channel earning even the low end of what Apex Psychology or Axon are pulling in monthly, $50 in tool spend is background noise, but it only becomes background noise after the writing and packaging are proven, not before. so resist the urge to buy your way past a problem that's actually sitting in your script. For the thumbnail, treat it with the same seriousness as the script, since roughly 80% of whether someone clicks comes down to the title and thumbnail alone, not the video itself. Feed a handful of high-performing thumbnails from your tracked channels to Claude and ask for a structural breakdown, composition, expression, what's emphasized versus what's left in shadow, then apply that same structure to your own topic, rather than starting from a blank canvas. Shrink your top candidates down to phone size before deciding between them, since that's the size almost your entire audience will actually see it at. One honest thing before you publish. Your very first video through this whole pipeline will not take 20 minutes, closer to several hours while you're still learning where each tool lives and fixing the inevitable small setup error. That's not a sign the system doesn't work, it's the cost of learning it once. By your third or fourth video, most of those decisions are already made. And by video 10, creators running this consistently really are down in the 20 to 30 minute range for a finished upload, because it's stopped being a creative struggle and become a checklist. 4 mistakes worth naming directly, because they quietly sink channels that are otherwise doing everything right. First, skipping the reference transcript step and asking for a script from a bare prompt, which reliably produces something flatter and more generic than matching your writing to an already proven pacing structure. Second, treating character consistency as optional to save a few minutes. A host who subtly changes appearance scene to scene breaks the illusion the moment a viewer consciously notices it. And in this style of content, that illusion is the entire product. Third, picking a low-paying niche purely because it feels easier to talk about. When a slightly less comfortable niche, paying $8 to $40 per 1,000 views, will out-earn a comfortable one paying $1 at the exact same view count every single time. Fourth, stacking 4 or 5 paid tools before a single video has proven the format is even working for your specific channel. When the smarter sequence is minimum viable stack first, real data second, upgrades only once that data justifies the cost. Once videos are actually live, treat your retention graph as more important than your raw view count, since a graph that holds flat through the middle of a video is telling the platform your script and pacing worked, and that signal tends to earn a video more organic distribution over time, regardless of where it started. A sharp drop at one specific timestamp is pointing directly at a beat that didn't land, so go back, watch that exact section, and figure out whether it's a pacing problem in the edit or a writing problem in the script before you touch your next upload. Do this after every upload, not just the ones that underperform, since your best performing videos are just as instructive. They're showing you exactly which choices to repeat on purpose instead of stumbling into again by accident. And once the pipeline is dialed in, it barely changes as you add revenue streams on top of ad income. Once you clear the subscriber threshold most platforms require for monetization, affiliate partnerships in your niche routinely pay flat fees per sign-up or a healthy percentage per sale, some running cookie windows of several months, so you still get credit even if someone converts weeks after watching. And you can genuinely ask Claude to research affiliate programs in your specific niche and rank them by payout. Just make sure you actually vet whichever one it surfaces before promoting it to anyone. Layer a low-priced digital guide or course on top of that once you have any real audience at all. Plenty of successful faceless creators price a focused guide somewhere in the range of $100 to $300, and it outperforms ad revenue within a few months of launching it. And you've turned one video into 3 separate income streams built on the same 20 minutes of work. None of this replaces the value of building your own small tools around whatever your particular channel does over and over. If you notice yourself doing the same manual task across every single upload, downloading clips one at a time, reformatting captions by hand, hunting for the same type of reference image repeatedly, that's worth describing to Claude Code directly and asking it to build a small, private tool that does just that one thing. You don't need to know how to write code for this. You need to describe the task clearly enough that Claude can turn your description into something functional. It won't be pretty on the first try, and it doesn't need to be. It just needs to remove the one step that's quietly costing you the most time. And once you've built 2 or 3 of these around your specific workflow, your 20-minute number starts looking realistic rather than aspirational. So here's the full system laid out end to end. A niche picked by payout data, not by comfort. Ideas sourced from what's already provably outperforming, not invented cold. A script built by matching a proven reference's pacing, not guessed at from scratch. One consistent voice, locked in and reused. A character or visual style kept identical scene after scene through a single locked reference image. Time-stamped assets that tell you exactly where they belong before you ever open an editor. Automated assembly when you want it, or a 15-minute manual edit when you don't. Custom tools built around your specific bottlenecks, without writing a line of code. No studio, no crew, no 8-hour day, just a laptop, Claude, and a process disciplined enough to actually run start to finish instead of stalling out at step 3. Your first attempt at this will feel slower than the $30,000 number in the title, and that's exactly as it should be, because that number describes Video 10, not Video 1. Video 10 is the 20-minute version. Video 1 is tuition. Go back to Zen for a second. 130,000 subscribers, 14 million views, all of it inside a single month, from a channel with zero history before that. Nobody handed that creator anything you don't already have access to right now. They just ran the process while everyone else was still deciding whether AI-generated content could actually work. You've got the exact same process sitting in front of you. The only thing separating you from a finished video tonight is whether you actually open Claude and start with step 1, or close this tab and watch someone else build the channel you just got the entire blueprint for. If even one part of this is going straight into tonight's video, hit subscribe, because I'm breaking down a new piece of this stack every single week, and you don't want to be a month behind on the next update. Drop a comment with the niche you're building around. I read every single one. And if you know someone who keeps saying they'll start a channel eventually but hasn't opened a single tool yet, send them this video. It might be the exact push they've been waiting for. Open Claude. Start the 20 minutes. I'll see you in the next one.